country. We have a society that stigmatizes those that hold cultural values that are traditional. We have a society where people, millions of people, are living paycheck to paycheck. They're working as hard as they ever have, but they're living paycheck to paycheck because the economy has changed underneath their feet. We have young Americans who owe thousands of dollars in student loans for a degree that doesn't lead to a job. For the first time in 35 years, we have more businesses dying than starting. And around the world, every day brings news of a new humiliation for America. Many, the direct consequence of decisions made when Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State. And so here's the truth. This election is about the future. And the Democratic Party and the political left has no ideas about the future. All their ideas are the same tired ideas of the past. More government, more spending. For every issue before America, their answer is a new tax on someone and a new government program. This nation is going to turn the page. And that's what this election should be about. And as I said at the first debate, if I am our nominee, they will be the party of the past. We will be the party of the 21st century.
And Maria, I will note, she's got a lot of experience, but her policies have proven disastrous. If you look at foreign policy, every region on the world has gotten worse. Under her leadership, we abandoned the nation of Israel. Under her leadership, radical Islamic terrorism has been under the rise. Under her leadership and Obama's leadership, Iran is getting $100 billion and on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon. Everything she's put her hand to is touched. And when we talk about the cronyism of Washington, Hillary Clinton embodies the cronyism of Washington. And I'll give you an example of that, which is the congressional exemption from Obamacare, which is fundamentally wrong. And I'll tell you this, if I'm elected president, I will veto any statute that exempts members of Congress. The law should apply evenly to every American.
Thank you. All right, I think it's fair to say you're not fans of Hillary Clinton's resumes. All right, Mr. Trump.
We are not.
I had a feeling. As perhaps the most successful capitalist on this stage tonight, you've acknowledged that some give capitalism a bad name. You've been particularly critical of businesses that find all sorts of ways of paying their taxes by keeping money abroad. But your own plan includes an incentive to bring that more than $2 trillion home. Isn't that like a one-time bounty?
No.
Some of the guys you've all but called pirates, so they still keep the loot and pay only a small price to bring it back.
Well, what's happening right now, Neil, is something that has not been a subject of conversation by politicians, as primarily the only politician, I guess, other than Carly on the stage. They haven't talked about a corporate inversion. Now, corporate inversion, companies are leaving. You know, we used to leave New York to go to Florida. We got better taxes. We got maybe something else. Now they're leaving the United States to go to other countries. They have trillions of dollars in those other countries. They're going for two reasons. They can't get their money back in. It's something where the Democrats and the Republicans both agree. It's the only thing I can think of. They both agree. Let the money come back in. 3.5 years, they still can't make a deal. They can't get the money in. It's probably $2.5 trillion, but I think it's much more than that. All of that money could come right in and be used to rebuild our country and investments in our country. They can't do it. What we have to do, and what I've done, is made the tax rate, and one of the reasons they don't bring it in, the tax is so obnoxious, they can't do it. I made it a 10% number, as you know. I've been very highly praised for it. A lot of money's going to come back in. We're going to get rid of the bureaucratic problems and roadblocks, because that's also a problem. And we're going to have all of this money pour back into the United States. It's going to be used to build businesses, for jobs, and everything else. And as I say, my expression is, let's make America great again.
Senator Paul, you were one of 15 Republicans to vote for an amendment which states that human activity contributed to climate change. President Obama has announced an aggressive plan to cut carbon emissions. At the same time, energy production in America has boomed. Is it possible to continue this boom and move toward energy self-sufficiency while at the same time pursuing a meaningful climate change program?
The first thing I would do as president is repeal the regulations that are hampering our energy that the president has put in place, including the Clean Power Act, While I do think man may have a role in our climate, I think nature also has a role. The planet's 4.5 billion years old. We've been through geologic age after geologic age. We've had times when the temperature's been warmer. We've had times when the temperature's been colder. We've had times when the carbon in the atmosphere has been higher. So I think we need to look before we leap. President's often fond of saying he wants a balanced solution. But really, we do need to balance both keeping the environment clean. We will have some rules for that. But we got to balance that with the economy. He's devastated my state. I say the president's not only destroying Kentucky, he's destroying the Democrat Party down there because nobody wants to associate with him. So what we really need is somebody that understands that we do need energy of all forms. And that means we will have solar and wind and hydro, but we will still have coal and we still will have natural gas. And we've got to have an all-of-the-above policy. But it would be a mistake to shut down all of our industries in the coal fields and shut down the coal-powered plants. If we did so, we're going to have a day where we wake up and some of our big cities are either very cold or very hot. So I think it's a big danger and we shouldn't do it. And what we should do is say we want all of the above. We want to free up the energy sector and let people produce, let them drill, let them explore.
Thank you, sir.
Maria, critically, when it comes to climate change,
we've had a 10% reduction in carbon emissions, and it isn't because of Solyndra. It isn't because of the central planners in Washington, D.C. It's because we've had a great American success story. The explosion of natural gas, taking two existing technologies and applying it through innovation has created lower carbon emissions, lower energy costs. 40% of all the economic activity in the age of Obama has come from the energy sector, and Hillary Clinton wants to suppress that. I think we ought to be expanding this. High growth is the path to lower carbon and more jobs. I know for a fact, as governor of the state of Florida, we created the largest land purchasing programs and environmental cleanup programs because we had a growing economy. Our revenues were growing at 4.4%. It allowed for resources to be able to protect the natural systems. We got to get to a conservation environmental policy that goes beyond just carbon.
All right, I know you want to talk, and I know you want to talk, but we also promised to get people home tonight, and we are going to take a quick break here. I think it is fair to say at this juncture that you can discuss business issues and only business issues and still keep it interesting. Stick around. These candidates' closing statements.
Thank you.